Some members of the Labour Party say the party is drifting off course and leaders of the party need to act fast to save it. This follows a letter written to INEC by the Abure-led National Working Committee that the Commission did not monitor the convention and therefore cannot report on it.
In light of the letter from INEC, the recognized and registered Labour Party constitution as provided by INEC to us is that of 2019. So, those parading themselves as elected members of National Office of the Labour Party with the purported 2024 constitution is null and void. The purported convention 2024 was not accepted by INEC as well as every other aspect of the failed NEWI convention. We are calling on leaders of the party, especially elected members of the party, that are statutory delegates to both National Executive Council, NEC, and National Convention to rise up to save the party from the impending disaster. If Abure is allowed to submit any name to INEC, it will void the candidacy of the prospective aspirant as he no longer has legal authority to do so. We know and are aware that Julius Abure and his cohort are hell-bent on misinforming unsuspecting members of the public about the failed national convention, especially when it has to do with the election of the national officers of our party and the amendment of our party's constitution, which INEC has refused to honor because of lack of due process. No amount of propaganda can change badly taken decision to a right one.
All right, we have in the studios with me Uchi Opara, who is the former national treasurer of the Labour Party. Very warm welcome, Uchi, to Newsnight. Now you have, the arena to ventilate more. The crisis in the Labour Party is disappointing to a lot of your followers, particularly the youths, the mama and the papa and the rest, with the new phenomenon that Peter Obi brought, the new verve in Nigeria's political firmament. What is going on?
Before I answer you that question, I want to say good evening, Nigerians. Good evening to you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, moving forward, the Labour Party, it's a brand on its own. The name alone is sellable at any given time. And the logo of our party is Mama Papa Pekin. And before now, the Labour Party has not had it this big. But with the coming of Mr. Peter Obi, we now know what a typical political party is. And again, we used to do things the usual way, but again, we have people who are already into politics and know what politics is all about. Now, it now come to the issue of doing things the right way, because Mr. Peter Obi represents integrity. Everything pure is all about Peter Obi. So we have to also follow his footsteps. But the man who had at the helm of affairs, I said hard, at the helm of affairs of Labour Party, by Sir Julius Abure, who used to be the national chairman, fortunately had other agendas. Why do I say so? There are issues on ground, okay? Yes, because things were not going the way they are supposed to be. But now we have a proper political party. We have stakeholders, we have our elected members, we have a whole lot of things on ground.
Where is your board of trustees?
Yes, I'm coming to that. Because there was this concept, this judgment that Abure signed with the NLC. Abure and Farouk, the former secretary of our party, he signed with the then NLC president, Mr. Waba Ayuba. INEC mediated. San Falna was also there. What did they say? They reached terms of agreement which enabled them to now go into the field and carry out the normal 2023 general elections. What was the agreement? To do an all-inclusive and expansive convention. There, Abure signed that some persons were going to pay the board of trustees. It is a morally bankrupt person that can sign an agreement just now, and the next minute is denying the agreement you have signed. Now, coming to the issue on ground, what's really aggravated this whole thing was even when Mr. Peter Obi came out to say, okay, let us have a wider national convention. Let us consult widely. Abure said no, he wasn't going to have that. Our caucus member, Mr. Ogene, said the same thing. Afam Ogene, honorable, said the same thing. What did he get? He was tongue-lashed, he was insulted, he was humiliated. Then what Abure did was to write a letter to INEC saying he was going to... In fact, that letter, I was disappointed. As a national treasurer of the Labour Party, I wasn't even aware that there was going to be a national convention. It's so embarrassing.
How was money voted for that Anambra convention?
That's the real thing we're talking about here. First of all, there are criteria you need to meet before you can be able to do your convention. INEC is the umpire of all political parties, of all elections.
To come and observe.
To come and observe.
As observe, not conducting that election.
To come and observe. Because if INEC is not important, then why then will Abure, after what he did, why then did he now go back to write to them and start parading documents that never emanated from them in the first instance? Now, INEC now said, P2B and others said, let us do a wider consultation. Abure wrote to INEC. He hid it. Nobody knew. He was at NLC like today. The next day, he never even discussed the issue of convention with them. And they were so as embarrassed as I was to not see the whole thing in the public domain. Then they began to ask questions. But again, there are things you're supposed to reach.
But some people, sorry, Oluchi, some people think that you're being used, to fight Abure. You'd accused him of embezzlement, of sleaze in, the Labour Party accounts and the rest. Why, would people want to believe your submissions? I mean, when they know that you are aligned even with the Nigeria Labour Congress to remove Abure?
Nigeria Congress, let me state it here, is a critical stakeholder of the Labour Party. They have statutory position. Nobody tampers with it. Coming to the issue on ground, me being used, how? I was only trying to do my job. And I've toyed in Labour Party. I've grown in Labour Party. So why now if somebody wants to come and use me? Of course, those were lies they usually peddle. Whenever anybody tries to challenge what they're doing, the ills that they're doing, of course, they will come and say the government is not doing well. Whereas you have corruption eating down under you. And whenever anybody tries to challenge what they're doing that is not right, the next thing you hear, this person is being sponsored. I said what I said, and I'm still challenging them that they should do the audit of that account.
Have you done a petition to the EFCC?
I have done a petition to the EFCC. I did. And I want to also state here that even Mr. P2B, after coming public, he has been making efforts to have that audit report. But Abure has been frustrating him, making sure that the audit report is not done. If he feels, or if anybody feels that I'm lying, because I raised a whole lot of allegations.
These are ordinary people's monies, donated by supporters of the party.
Some people that sold pure water, people that sold banana on the street, there's committed that 1,000, a whole lot of things, and one man sits on it.
So where then is the integrity or probity of the party then? Who
do you want me to ask if you ask me that question?
Because you're a member of the party.
Yes, yes, you have every right to ask me. And that was why I said I knew a lot of people contributed that money. And that was why I said, let's even lead by example. Let's let the world know what has happened to the money they donated to the party. Was that an offense? And again, this thing did not even start today. It was looking like my word against Abure's, because right from when we were campaigning, I was telling him, can I know what's happening with the accounts? He said, campaign and all that.
Is he the sole signatory
to the... Unfortunately, he's not. He's not the sole signatory. But again, a man who can
why is he being singled out? If he's not the sole signatory, where then is the fraud coming from?
A man who can forge a dead man's signature can do anything.
Well, your allegation there is very strong and
no,
weighty.
It is not strong.
That's your
no, it's not an allegation now. It is not. It is not.
It's not been proven in the law court.
That's because the more you try to do the right thing, the more they try to soft pedal to Waterloo what you're trying to do. But at the end of the day, truth must come out.
All these brickbats, isn't it having a domino effect, a snowball effect on your supporters out there who look up to the leadership of the Labour Party, to guide them anew or aright?
There is no party that doesn't have issue. So the Labour Party is not an exception. So it's even good it's happening that we're trying to probe ourselves. At least we're trying to lead by example, just that one individual has refused for the right thing to be done. Everybody or anyone that truly believes in Mr. P2B or in Labour Party knows too well that the party will bounce back.
What article of your party can be invoked to redress this ugly situation?
Thank you very much. We have stakeholders. We have our elected members. Okay, we have the NLC, the TUC, other stakeholders. Now that the party is, and we also have the NTC. NTC is also invoked. NTC was created just to fill the vacuum created by Abure. Because by our ramification, I can speak from a place of authority to say that our tenure, by virtue of the election we did, convention we did 2019, and the extension we did 2023, has come to an end.
You didn't resign. You were fired.
No, I wasn't fired. It was.
But you didn't resign.
I did not resign.
If your tenure, if you say your tenure had come to an end, how did you exit the executive of the party?
Every office has periodical term of 4 years, right? We were elected in 2019. And that 2019 was supposed to leave office by 2023. But because of the judiciary and everything, we're going to court in and out of courts. So we now decided to ask for an extension by 1 year. And by all ramification, that extension by 1 year came to an end on the 9th of June of this year. So our tenure has ended. There is vacuum, and that is why we have an NTC. NTC they are made up of stakeholders from different walks of life. So I think I am supposed to be the one telling the world that our tenure has ended, and what Abure had in Newi is not standing, because even INEC did not monitor it. And I read from them saying that INEC must not monitor an election. Then why then did you write to INEC? If you think INEC is not important, why then did you write to them? They are umpire of election.
All right, well.
And again, there are criteria, there are things you have to meet up.
Yeah.
For instance, Abure never met up, like the delegates. Where did he get them from? You have to, there's supposed to be an elective.
They didn't organize world congresses and
there was nothing
well,
like
that's
that.
Left for party members. We've run out of time. Except as the former treasurer, you're going to pay to the account for special appearance after this. If you say anything more, thank you very much, Uchi Opara, former treasurer of the Labour Party.